WrestleZone presents Lost in the Midcard. Here are your hosts, Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where we wonder if there's going to be any good news to end the year. Dun dun dun. It's Lost the Midcard. Welcome, happy new year. It is January 1st of 2024. Hope you had a good New Year's Eve. I played Starfield till 6 in the morning last night. That's basically my New Year's Eve. Decided to stay in this year. Yeah, I decided to stay in this year. Didn't do anything. Watched probably my last Red Zone of the year because I'm gonna go hang out with some friends next Sunday for football in the last regular season week. So watched Red Zone, got some Mickey D's, and then played Starfield for literally 11 hours, I think. So happy new year. Glad you're here. Lots to talk about. Day one tonight, Monday Night Raw. We got a lot of stuff covering that. We got free agency as January 1st means free agency for a lot of people. We've got surprises tonight, possibly. We've got a firing that we've been waiting for ever since this show was invented 9 years ago.
So long.
A lot happening. Thank you for joining. If you have not done so already, make sure you go subscribe to WrestleZone. That is WrestleZone, one word. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you know every time we go live, which is right here, right now, at 7:10, 6:10, 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central every Monday Night Live, leading you up to Monday Night Raw. Hit that bell icon. Share this with your friends. Get everybody in the chat. I see lots of people in the chat already. Ozzy, Uncle Howdy, the man formerly known as Craig Backlund, Mark Cho, Frantic World in here. Thank you guys all for joining us on this holiday. It is a holiday, and we'll get to everything here in just a minute. But first, you can find me on the Twitter at JB Huskers, live tweeting day one tonight. And as always, my co-host, he is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Like 2024 starting off with a bang, dude. We have a lot to talk about. You know, I thought Worlds End was going to be the main talking point, but we've got a lot of stuff to discuss tonight leading up to the day one episode of WWE Raw tonight. It's 2024 is set to be, it's already just like, yeah, you thought 2023 was crazy. Let's see what we're going to do this year. I think 2024 is going to be insane when it comes to the world of professional wrestling.
It's going to be insane for one reason and one reason only, the fact that so many contracts are up on both sides of the top two promotions, WWE and AEW. There's going to be probably a lot of people trading hands. That's going to be real interesting. I mean, we got Deonna Purrazzo, who's a free agent as well. Mercedes Moné, we'll get into that later. Alex Hammerstone is another big name out there. Sean Spears' jump ship. Is he going to come back to WWE? Is Ty Dillinger going to get one last run? Or is he going to go somewhere else? You know, there's a lot of question marks up in the air. And then, of course, everybody falling for AEW removing MJF from their roster page.
I think TNA would be insane. Like, of all the names you name, I think TNA would be insane not to go after Sean Spears.
And Elijah.
Well, I'm saying, seeing what they did with Frankie Kazarian last year,
Yeah.
I feel getting somebody on the level of Sean Spears for TNA would be a huge move for them. And yeah, I could see Elijah showing up in TNA as well. His little vignette video that he popped out on social media this morning was very well done.
Good
and
video.
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does outside of WWE in 2024.
That's my New Year's resolution of 2024. Watch more Impact.
It's going to be really hard for me to watch more personally because my cable provider just got rid of Access TV. So thank you very much, Verizon Fios. Pain in my ass.
I would pay Impact $1 on
Well,
YouTube.
I'm
Pay
considering
him $1.
I'm considering the new TNA Plus streaming
Oh,
service, but I want to know that it's going to be airing weekly episodes of TNA on their service.
I
So
pay
waiting to see what the dealio with that is. I know that launches worldwide in just a few days from now. So
I pay Impact Wrestling $1 a month, and I could watch Impact starting at a half an hour after they go live. Obviously, I host trivia on Thursdays, so I'm not home on Thursdays anyways. So, but I could literally come home and
well,
pop in.
the funny thing, the reason why they run that at 8:30 is so they can they eliminate all the commercials.
Yep.
So by the time it's ending at 10 o'clock on Access, it's also ending right around 10 o'clock on the stream as well. So you're really not you're slightly behind, but you catch up throughout the course of the episode. So it's like watching without all the commercials. I mean, it's not bad for $1. I can't.
Yeah, for $1 a month. I've been doing it for a couple years now. I just haven't had the time to get into it. So I want to watch that a little more, especially if they bring in some new talent. I mean, hell, if they bring in Sean Spears, man, there's a lot of great matches you could have. Kazarian for one, Brian Myers, for another. There's a lot of great matches within there that you could have within there. Our lead story tonight, of course, is the pay-per-view that occurred on Saturday, and that was AEW Worlds End. It was, I would say, a great beginning and then a long time to get to the final 3 matches. It was not that great between the opening 8-man until we got to Edge and Adam Copeland, in my opinion.
As far as I'm concerned, the final 3 matches saved the pay-per-view.
It did, yeah.
It absolutely saved the show. Even with those final 3 matches, however, I think top to bottom, it was probably the weakest pay-per-view AEW has ever had.
Yeah.
Even with all the big moments and stuff that occurred on the show, just the meat in the middle of the show was very lackluster.
Very.
And it hurt. Like the loss of Keith Lee was a massive shot to the middle of that card because we lost Swerve and Lee and we got what we got with Dustin Rhodes, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, the opening was good. The final 3 matches saved the show, and everything else, in my opinion, was a mixed bag. There was some good stuff on there, but nothing that we couldn't have seen, on like a weekly episode of Dynamite or Collision. The fact that we didn't get FTR and Daniel Garcia against the House of Black based on how things were set up on Collision is mind-boggling to me compared to some of the other matches they decided to give us instead. It was just a weird show. But I have a feeling TK is might want to be bouncing back in a big way on Wednesday night, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Kicked things off with 0 Hour, gave us 3 matches. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, a friendly New Jersey hometown matchup of who was better there. Willow Nightingale getting the win. A 20-man over-the-top battle royale. Winner gets a TNT title shot. I had predicted Lance Archer to win this. The other big man won it, Kill Switch, and that also was
that
played
soured
into
me
later on.
so much going into the pay-per-view because I could see from a mile away what they were doing.
Yep.
The only thing I thought they were going to put the belt back on Kill Switch, Luchasaurus, whatever you want to call him. So I mean, I guess it was the lesser of 2 evils.
What the fuck were they doing with?
I was definitely sour going into that pay-per-view because of that battle royal.
The fuck was Trent Beretta doing, throwing Danhausen over the top rope?
And why wouldn't you? Look, if you want to throw Danhausen over the top rope, logically you want to win. It's every man for himself. That makes sense. But get rid of Kill Switch first. Like it didn't logically, it made Trent Beretta look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So like I was just like, this is so dumb. And yeah, I was very sour after that after that battle royal, and it took me a while to get
I
past
saw
that.
people in Twitter like all excited for Dalton Castle, and he got eliminated first. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that wasn't reading the room at all.
Well, yeah, especially when you got jobbers like Serpentico in there, and anyways, it was kind of a fun battle royal though, and Hook Wheeler Yuta, very good match for the FTW title. I really hope they have a Pure Rules match somewhere down the line.
I wish the hockey stick wouldn't have broken.
Oh yeah,
That kind of took the air out of the finish when he hooked Wheeler Yuta's leg. The stick broke in half because obviously they were gimmicking it to smash it over his back. And honestly, if I was Hook at that point, I would have just brought in the stick and hooked on the Taz mission and finished the match that way. Like trying to keep it held together to break it over his back, just it looked bad. Like honestly, like I thought Full Gear 0 Hour was the best pre-show I'd ever seen for any wrestling pay-per-view ever. And then I thought World's End might have been one of the worst pre-shows I've seen for a wrestling event ever. So it was definitely a contrast of two things. Like the finish to the women's match fell apart.
Oh,
the battle royal,
I got sloppy.
The battle royal thing was bad. And then the thing with the hockey stick, it's like that. It's like 0 Hour for World's End was cursed. It definitely, like Dan Houston just was upset. He was tossed. He knew he was going to get tossed. And he was like, I'm cursing the whole show. So
hockey stick.
Yeah,
Main card kicked off with 8 of the 12 members of the Continental Classic. This was a damn good match. Daddy Magic on the mic, as he's been for Daniel Garcia's matches. BCC with Claudio and Brian and Mark Briscoe. Daniel Garcia taking on Brody King, Jay White, Jay Lethal, and Roosh.
Poor Jay Lethal.
Poor Jay Lethal taking the O in the Continental Classic, taking the pin in the match. Daniel Garcia getting a second win in a row, who I think is going to rebound nicely and could be a guy that could maybe target Christian for the TNT title down the line. Daniel Garcia for a guy that only
MK in the chat thinks Copeland's getting it back at Revolution. So
yeah, that story ain't done. But it could be.
Did you see the press? Did you see the presser?
No.
So this doesn't make any sense to you? Have you seen any of the headlines about this?
No.
One of the people in the presser asked Tony what free agents were out there that she would like to get in the ring with, and she's like, "I know this is gonna upset you, Tony, but there's someone who I really want to get in the ring with, and it would make all kinds of money." And she gets up and she says, "Randy Richter. I want to kick your ass." And the presser lost it. The presser, it was so freaking funny, dude. So
that's gonna probably be
if you watch nothing else from that presser, watch the Tony Storm segment.
Yeah,
because she had me laughing so hard during that it was fantastic.
We've got a marquee category called the best thing going in pro wrestling today. Some things that have won it in the past are Broken Matt Hardy, Being the Elite. I can guarantee you that Timeless Tony Storm is probably going to be a nominee for best thing going. The best thing going today. A little nod to Ric Flair. The marquees are going to be next week. We are going to do right before Monday Night Raw next week. We are going to do as many as we can. We're going to probably do the major ones and then probably put maybe some of the smaller ones up. We'll figure it out. We got a week to figure it out, but we're going to do the marquees next week. Obviously this week was loaded. Obviously it got even more loaded, even more than World's End. So rightfully so, we decided to move the awards show to next week. But we're going to hear from you later on in the show in the chat. Give us your favorite moments of 2023. Once we get done talking about a couple of news items and then, of course, talk about day one, we want to hear from you what you thought was the best of the year as well. But that 8-man tag to open things up, great action, awesome match. Then Miro and Andrade, I guess it was there. We all knew
he should have just squashed him.
Yeah, we all knew Andrade was leaving. Tony doesn't do that to
Andrade
people
leaving
walking out the door.
and maybe being on Raw as early as he might be on Raw as early as tonight.
Yeah.
So like if honestly, Tony, you want to do business the right way? Fuck that. I'd had Miro flatten this dude like I'd had Miro.
Listen to you talk about Vince McMahon.
I'd had Miro flatten this dude in like 3 minutes, and then afterwards, CJ gets in the ring, screams at him, kicks him in the dick, and walks out with Miro. That's how I would have booked it.
Well,
So
she did screw. She did screw
him, but
Andrade
I'd have
over,
done it different. I would have done it differently. I thought they made Andrade look way too good going out there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was a decent match. It wasn't too bad there. Miro looking amazing as he always does. Really hope we get more Miro in 2024 than we did in 2023. So, of course, Charlotte is gone. So maybe Charlotte could be. Oh no, she's gonna probably have surgery.
She's gonna miss a majority
She
of
won't be able to
2024
travel.
because she's not even having the surgery until this week.
Yeah, so she won't be able
So
to. Like she could be at his side. That probably won't happen. You kind of wonder if
I don't
they
think we
pair him
see her till closer. If we see her at all this year, it might be
SummerSlam.
closer to Survivor Series
Could be Survivor Series.
because
Yeah,
it's
if she's
supposed to
pushing
be
that
9
off.
months recovery post surgery, and
Yeah,
surgery's this week. So that puts her past SummerSlam.
yeah.
Unless she has a miraculous John Cena, recovery time. I think
Which
Charlotte's going to miss all the big events of 2024.
some people do get back from ACL within. I mean, non-football. Some people do get back from ACL in
But she had
6.
multiple injuries in her knee.
But
It wasn't
yeah.
just the
Oh
MCL.
yeah. It
So,
was.
like
It was.
she really got screwed up on that spot.
It was all the L's.
Yeah,
MCL, PCL,
all the L's.
all the L's. Miro and Andrade wasn't bad though. We just knew that Andrade was out the door. And hopefully Miro gets a lot more going for him this year than he did last year because his promos are great. Obviously,
Yeah,
he's in
I
great
want to see
shape.
Miro in the ring a lot more in 2024. I
Yeah,
don't think he was in the ring nearly enough in 2023. I want a lot of Miro in AEW in 2024, and I'd like to see that man have another title run with another championship at that point too. International, TNT, Continental, whatever it is. I think Miro needs another title run in that company.
yeah, and next up, Timeless Tony Storm against Riho. Some very outside. We knew Tony was going to retain. Some pretty cool stuff with Luther though. I liked it when I liked it when she was on Luther's shoulders and whipped Riho off the apron. That was pretty funny.
This was the best. This was the best women's match of the show.
Luther catching
Easily.
Riho doing a crossbody, and then he just casually hands her over to Tony. There was some great stuff there, but we all knew who was going to win. After the match, Mariah May came to shower Tony with roses. I mean, it's only a matter of time before Mariah turns on Tony. That'll happen eventually. Mariah's first match
I
this
think it'll
Wednesday.
be a while. Honestly, I don't think we see the way Tony Khan likes to tell lengthy stories. I don't think we see that match until All In. If I had to guess, I would say Mariah May versus Tony Storm will take place at All In at Wembley.
I does like the stretch out story. See Keith Lee swerve, and now it's getting stretched out further. I didn't even realize Keith Lee got hurt.
Yeah, apparently he re-aggravated some injury in the match with Shane Taylor at Final Battle, and made it worse in the match with Brian Cage on Collision. And doctors took it out of his hands Saturday night. He wanted to work, and doctors told him, "Nah, you can't." And Tony does whatever the doctors say. So
Yeah,
as much as that hurt the show, you got to look out for the well-being of your talents. So I hope
yep.
Keith Lee's another guy I want to see a lot more of in 2024. So hopefully Lee and Miro and all those can rise themselves to another level within that company next year. Or this, I guess this year now. Yeah, freaking A, it's freaking first.
MK with a good stat in the chat there. Miro had 7 matches in 2023 and 4 in 2022.
Yeah, the amount of money that he's making, like you have to get more of your money's worth out of Miro, Tony. You can't be letting Miro work this little matches and paying him what you're paying him. You got to bring the Redeemer in on a more consistent basis, and I want to see more of him and CJ Perry together throughout this year. So let's make it happen.
Wednesday, they had a segment backstage that sets up Wednesday, and Is there anything else announced for Wednesday? I know, but Dante Martin and Orange Cassidy
for the
for the
International
AEW.
Championship.
Is that the only thing announced so far?
No, Mariah May's in-ring debut,
Yeah.
which I am predicting will either be against Deonna Purrazzo or Mercedes Moné. There's got to be a reason they're not announcing who her opponent is. There has to be a like, if you just bring her out and she's squashed as some no-name person, and that's your women's match for the show, people are going to be pissed. So the fact that we don't know who her opponent is, I'm thinking it's Purrazzo or Mercedes that we're going to see them pop up on Wednesday.
Yeah, there's no graphic for Dynamite yet, so
yeah,
graphic guy needs to get to work.
They're keeping everything close to the vest, and keep in mind they don't have Moxley Danielson because they're going to be in Japan for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yep.
So,
next up was Swerve and Dustin Rhodes. This should not have gone 10 minutes after what Swerve did to Dustin.
This match shouldn't even have started.
No.
The way they set it up, and they were carrying Dustin out, I'm like, oh, they're going to bring out somebody else to face Swerve, and we're going to get a good match. And then Dustin turned around. I'm like, oh no, why are you doing this?
Through the cinder block.
Dustin got way too much offense in for what happened to him before the match started. Yeah. It wasn't good. I like Dustin. I love Swerve.
Me too.
It wasn't good.
I loved when Dustin spit on Swerve, and when that switch hit, that was money. The last minute of that match when that switch hit. An 8-man match that did not, as MK says on the chat, the obviously allegations, the whole Jericho online chatter.
I'm not even going to discuss until there's some credible reports out there.
There is absolutely, I mean, obviously,
there's nothing credible out there right now.
No, there's
absolutely nothing. We need something credible beyond an emoji. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for all.
These are some serious allegations, and if the person who won the report wants to keep running their mouth, I would not be surprised if Jericho slaps him with a defamation of character lawsuit if all this is false.
Because you've already got so many people believing it and turning on Jericho, and the fact that he had absolutely zero sources when he reported that is, I don't know.
I want nothing.
We take out. You got to take allegations seriously.
Exactly.
But these aren't allegations. These are a guy reporting allegations.
They are allegations, but we need some substance. We need some substance to them, and until somebody, in my mind, that's credible reports on this with more facts, I don't even want to touch this stuff right now.
And that really sucked the air out of this match because it was sloppy, and I think that was part of the reason.
The crowd just was all over this match, and I think that affected all 8 men in the ring.
And let me tell you,
I'm sure they were all very frustrated.
I can guarantee you who the next tag title shot's going to. Going to Sammy and Jericho.
Well, that's what this whole match was for.
Yep.
Was to give them a pinfall victory over either Bill or Ricky. That's what this whole match was designed to do. So
Trevor with a very good point in the chat. They should have given Sting more respect. They should have given him his own tag match with Darby against the House of Black or somebody, not shoehorned him. Unless I thought this was going to turn into a fatal 4-way for the title, and then you put the title on Sting and Darby.
That would have been better than what we got.
And then you put
you know what? That would have been a great idea. If they
and then Sting goes out
teams and did a 4-way for the AEW tag team titles, and Sting and Darby have those titles heading into Revolution, and Sting either retires as champion or loses them. And if he retires as champion, they could do a tag team tournament. Because
you always go out looking at the lights.
One thing AEW is doing really well lately is tournaments. And their tag team division, which was one of their strongest divisions when this company started 5 years ago, is kind of the tag team division almost feels like an afterthought right now.
Yeah.
So I think a tag team tournament would do incredible things to help the actual tag team division rise again in AEW.
6 months from now. 6 months from now in July, fucking do a tag team Continental Classic.
That would be honestly, that would be awesome.
But Sting is such an old school guy. I think he's going to go out looking at the lights. He hasn't been pinned in AEW. He doesn't have a loss in AEW.
No loss.
I think his first loss is going to be his last match.
See, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if TK wants to give him a loss. And I don't know if that sold out crowd in North Carolina would be very happy to see Sting's last match to see him lose. I don't know, man. I feel like he almost has to win. And if he's going to take a loss before Revolution, it would be before Revolution.
Now, we don't know if it's going to be a singles match because Sting is still yet to do a singles match. Him and Darby, though, would be kind of fun.
Cameron Hawkins of The Ringer, I believe at some point last year, that he was not interested in doing singles matches in AEW.
Yeah.
So I don't foresee him doing anything singles at Revolution, and I would imagine whatever he's involved with will be Darby Allin teaming up with him at his side for
the only way Sting should not go out looking at the lights is if he wins the tag titles with Darby.
This is one of the worst ideas you've ever had, Ozzy.
No way. Did you watch
Nobody in their right mind wants to see Sting versus Ric Flair in 2020.
Did you watch Ric Flair's last match, Ozzy? That was on tape. People have paid for that. People paid for that. And to watch Flair bleed like a stuck pig, and we thought he might die in the ring that night.
It was a bad match, man. It was really bad. I don't think AEW in good conscience could put Ric Flair back in the ring.
No. Julia Hart, Abaddon, not a bad match.
It was fine.
It wasn't good.
Botch. The finish. The finish. I've never seen her screw up that moonsault press. Never. It's always beautiful, and it just didn't. I was just like, at that point, I was just like, yeah, the show's cursed. I threw my hands up at that point, and I'm just like, show's cursed. Nothing can be done about it. And I was ready to just like tear the show apart on tonight. And then luckily the three last matches really saved the show for me.
Christian Cage and Adam Copeland going 25 minutes. That's never bad. Edge
Loved
coming out. Edge. Copeland coming out to the same attire that he wore with the big match against Mick Foley with the flaming table spot. I actually met Edge back when he was Edge. They were at a Perkins just before that pay-per-view. I think they may have been in town for SmackDown. They were in Omaha because I remember I was on my way back, and we stopped at Perkins on my way back to Lincoln, and it was Edge, Rob Conway, and Tyson Tomko eating at Perkins. And
you never know who you're going to run into in restaurants like that before or after a wrestling show.
So I shook his hand after they got done eating. You wait till they get done eating, people, for God's sake.
Absolutely. Do not bother them while they're
eating. So as Edge is walking out the door, somebody goes, "Good luck," and Edge turns around and goes, Ozzy, "I'm gonna need it."
Ozzy, this was never said. Tony Khan never said Sting versus Ric Flair was the match for Revolution. No. He said that Ric Flair would be in Sting's corner at Revolution. They're not facing each other. AEW is not putting Ric Flair in a ring. No. It's not happening. So as Edge is walking out the door, we're going to be talking about this soon, Kenford. I promise.
This is
Sasha Mercedes talk coming very soon.
This is before. This is as he's walking out the door, days before he's facing Mick Foley in this hardcore match. And guy goes, "Good luck, Edge," and he turns around and goes, "I'm gonna need it." Of course, little did we know he was gonna do this goddamn spear through a flaming table. They brought back the flaming table. Poor Nick Wayne got overshot on that flaming table spot. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, but, I think Copeland was in too much of a hurry to hit that.
Yeah, because that shit burned out so quick.
And he was way too quick. If he would have been more focused on the power bomb, Nick Wayne would have went right through it. But he was rushing to get the spot done, and it screwed up. It was still a funny spot though. It looked hilarious. Wayne bouncing off the table like he did. So I mean, it was still fun in my book. I would have liked to seen the table break.
I did like how he sold that his ass got burnt there. So because his ass did hit the table and he sold that. I'm telling you what, man, and I'm impressed with Nick Wayne's mom for not being in the business, so to speak, though she's been around the business a very long time. She cut a good promo on Dynamite, and she's done a good job for not being a regular wrestler. I think she's done a great job, and obviously Nick Wayne, we all know him watching GCW and knew he was going to be something special, and so it's good to see him in this major story as well. Edge and Christian, Adam Copeland and Christian going 25 minutes, was just amazing, and it was kind of surreal seeing Adam Copeland, AEW TNT champion, but wow, that didn't last long, did it, Matt?
Unfortunately, not. The finish that I feared was coming after the battle royal happened, but I predicted Killswitch to win the title and Christian Cage to be butthurt about it. But no, instead, Cage took the contract from Killswitch and hit Copeland with his finisher and regained his title.
Whispered something in his ear, so he's got something on Killswitch, obviously. But Antoine in the chat, do we see Jade at the Rumble? I would think that's where Jade debuts, is the Rumble.
If she's not in the Rumble, I don't know when we're gonna see her. Clearly WWE doesn't think she's ready to compete in the ring right now, or she would have been on TV. She would have been on TV weeks ago.
Where the hell is Jack Perry? Thank God he was not the devil.
As far as I know, his suspension's up. They're just waiting to bring him back to TV.
Somebody said he's gonna come back and save Luchasaurus, and Jungle Express is gonna be back again. No, I think he's gonna join Christian.
Honestly, I wouldn't hate that.
I wouldn't hate him joining Christian either. Calling him daddy. How cringeworthy would it be for a man who had a famous father who's passed away that he calls Christian dad? Oh, Christian's the best goddamn heel in this business right now. Did Mike just say in the chat 3-minute warning? He's got 3 minutes.
No, he's referring to how long Copeland's title reign was.
I know. No, I was referring to Eric Bischoff.
Let's not refer to Eric Bischoff ever again.
So yeah, that feud ain't over, and we're not sad about that either. As Matt said, he expects Revolution Copeland to get that back. Oh man, best match of the night here, Continental Classic final.
This works for me. MK, Hollywood Jack Perry, and Anna Jay.
Yep.
I think the two of those together would be a huge act in 2024 for AEW.
The match of the night, in my opinion, Eddie Kingston, John Moxley.
This was an all Japan style match through and through, man.
Boy, man, some of them chops definitely got to Mox.
people that didn't like this match don't like that type of Japanese style of professional wrestling. Yeah. And I understand. I understand the people who didn't like it, but I thought it was awesome.
Man, when they were doing,
I thought it was great.
When they were doing the slaps to the face and Eddie hits that Hurricane at the end, right in the middle of it, man. And you couldn't help but being happy for him. We thought this was Swerve's to win. Makes sense because Swerve needs to be a world title winner, not a Ring of Honor.
I will be shocked if Swerve Strickland is not AEW World Champion at some point this year.
Yeah,
I would be absolutely shocked. It would take a catastrophic injury for him not to get that belt, in my opinion.
And what was even better in this match was Bryan Danielson on commentary. That's going to be his.
Danielson on commentary was amazing.
That's going to be his. He's probably going to be doing that a lot more once he hangs it up next year. But this was just a brilliant match, a great final, a great comeback. Eddie starting 0-2, great storytelling. The Continental Classic, Matt, we wrap it up. It was a winner, wasn't it?
Great tournament. Already looking forward to it coming back next year, or that's this year now. I keep saying next year when we're already in 2024. But yeah, I can't wait to see what the next one brings later this year.
Main event time, AEW World Title, MJF and Samoa Joe. We are in Long Island, so of course we get a special Long Island entrance from a great video from some Long Islanders, including one that apparently screwed MJF in the back of a car for 5 hours. And then one guy that was reluctant to applaud MJF, and then a couple of guys kind of, kind of convinced him to do so. I thought that was a great video. I thought that was a great video to kick off the show. Good match between these guys. Obviously, injury sold well by MJF. Not really sold well. I mean, MJF is fucking beat up. He's going to be disappearing from TV for a while because he needs to disappear from TV for a while. He is definitely hurting. But it was a good match, but it was all about the end of the match. And while it was obvious, Matt, we all knew who the devil was. Almost
anybody
from the
who's
beginning.
anybody who's been watching Lost in the Midcard, we called everybody months ago. We told everybody on the show who the devil was, who the goons were. We nailed it.
I called the Kingdom. You called Wardlow because it looked like Wardlow's body when they attacked the Acclaim. We called every single member of that group all the way back to when the Acclaim got tagged. We all knew it was coming, but goddamn, that was a good reveal, wasn't it, Matt?
I loved it. I thought
Cole
it was
sitting
great.
in the chair.
Oh. And it was better than just the typical "I'm the devil, I'm going to remove my mask." I thought it was portrayed really well with Cole being in MJF's corner the entire match.
Yep.
And like everybody was like, "Oh, he can't be the devil now." I'm like, "No, he's still the devil, guys. This is being played out in a different way." I thought it was great.
Kenford in the chat says, seems like the crowd wasn't overly impressed about the devil reveal. I just think it was obvious.
I heard a lot of people that were there live said the crowd was a lot louder in person than it came across on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Which is, I hate when they don't get the crowds mic'd up properly, and it ruins that experience for the people watching at home. But everybody I talked to that was at the show said that crowd was so much louder than what we heard on the pay-per-view itself, which is a shame. I hope AEW does a better job with miking up their crowds this year in every type of venue that they go to, because we deserve to hear that loud crowd at its rowdiest.
So poor MJF, the only friend he is known to have turning on him. We'll see where that leads for MJF.
Honestly, I don't think we see MJF until Revolution.
Not because
at the earliest.
He needs to heal up.
At earliest, I don't think we see him until Revolution. It could be even longer.
Just now breaking about an hour before we went live, Fightful Select is reporting that Mercedes Mone is likely going to sign with AEW, according to some industry insiders and of the like. Obviously, there were rumors of her going back to WWE, rumors of a 4 Horsewoman reunion. Obviously, Charlotte getting hurt, that kind of hurt things there a lot. But the Mercedes is a lot of people are expecting her to land there, possibly as early as Wednesday, as Matt said.
That would be so awesome. Look, I'm telling you what, man. You if Tony signs Mercedes, signs Deonna Purrazzo, Britt comes back from injury, Jamie Hayter comes back from injury. They just got Thunder Rosa back. All the young talent that have been built throughout 2023, where all these people were hurt. Dude, that women's division could really blow up this year to the point where everybody can finally be getting what everybody's been craving for, like consistently seeing 2 women's matches on a single show. I think we have a lot better chance of seeing that now throughout this year than we have ever had before in the history of AEW. And I think it'll be Mercedes leading that charge for the women's division.
Sky Blue wrestled about 65 matches this year too, by the way. Tony K, not that Tony K, but another Tony K. What if it isn't a work and MJF is in the Rumble? No, I think MJF re-signed. I think MJF re-signed as far back as a year ago. I think MJF's been re-signed.
Yeah, when MJF took off after Double or Nothing, at that point, right after the Punk injury, I would put any amount of money on it. They signed a new deal then. But MJF is an old school wrestling fan, and he wants to live in the world of kayfabe. So he's going to kayfabe
Hey,
everybody.
watch him show up
and
at
let
Hard
him
to Kill.
believe.
I said this 2 weeks ago. Watch him show up at Hard to Kill.
If he wasn't so, if his body wasn't so messed up, I think that
Just
would be a
show up,
brilliant move.
not wrestle. Just show up.
I don't think it's happening. I don't know who
Fightful,
their signing's going to be now, especially if it looks like Mercedes is landing with AEW. But they better hope whoever they have up their sleeve's a big one, because they really hyped that signing up, and it might not end up going well for them if they can't deliver a big name.
Fightful had reported that there have been conversations with WWE about a potential return. However, the sides were far apart in terms. They've learned that Mercedes Mone has had continued conversations with All Elite Wrestling just a month after it looks like the two sides couldn't come to terms. Beyond that, those in the industry that Fightful Select have spoken to say that All Elite Wrestling is likely the landing spot. And
you're not getting Goldberg in TNA, Mark Joe. Stop it.
And in We're Dancing in the Fucking Streets news, Nick Khan is
Nick
confirmed.
Khan?
Not Nick Khan has confirmed that they have let go or have mutually parted ways.
He said he gave his notice. He left on his terms apparently, but the man is gone. Look, any longtime listener or watcher of Lost in the Midcard knows that we have no love for Kevin Dunn on this show. And Mr. Shaky Cam, Mr. Camera Cut, the idea that all of this stuff could be going away this year is such a huge thing for WWE programming. I can't even tell you how big this is.
Mr. Fuck Up AJ Styles debuts so we can watch Roman Reigns look confused. Mr. Let's fuck up Edge's first spear since returning to WWE in 10 years. Good riddance.
I'm so happy about this. This is a big win for WWE in this new year to be without Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon. Oh lordy, WWE could be onto something really magical this year with Triple H running the show. I'm really excited.
Day one, top of the hour in just about 9 minutes. Once executive producer Dick Wolf tells us to get out of here. We have Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Tegan Nox and Natalya, maybe a number one contenders match for the newly crowned tag team champions of Caden Carter and Katana Chance. Becky Lynch is supposed to battle Nia Jax. It says set to battle Nia Jax. So
there's no way they can screw that up again. They have to do the match.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley and Ivy Nile in a women's world title match, and the world heavyweight champion Seth freaking Rollins taking on Drew McIntyre. Is that for the title?
That's for the title. Big title match.
And the news of the week going into day one was a former WWE champion would be at day one. Fightful put out a report earlier this afternoon saying they are leaning towards The Rock being the guy. A lot of people thinking this would be Andrade Cien Almas, maybe, because he's gone. What are your thoughts on who this could be, Matt? And who do you think it should be?
At first, when we were strictly talking WWE champion, I looked down the list. I'm like, the only one that makes sense to me right now is Rob Van Dam. But clearly, that doesn't seem to be the case now.
It can be men or women.
And then the Andrade thing happened. Or like, well, they could mean former WWE title holder champion, period. And Andrade, former NXT champion, former WWE United States champion. So he is a former WWE champion, just not a former WWE World Heavyweight champion. So
well,
I mean, they can play around with those
the
words
NXT
and whatnot.
Title the world.
I don't. Triple H might. I sure as hell know Vince didn't. But then. Look, the footage with The Rock at the Rose Bowl today or this weekend or whatever, with Nick Khan standing there in the background, and they're 2 hours away from Raw.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. It seems like finally The Rock has come back
and then
to WWE once again. And if he throws his name in the hat for the Royal Rumble, nobody can tell me that anybody's a guarantee to win that match at the end of this month. If you got The Rock, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes all in that match, you can't tell me with 100% certainty who's winning that Royal Rumble at the end of this month.
And speaking of CM Punk, of course, another person they thought this may be could be AJ Lee, because we've been recently seeing training videos of her.
Yeah, but most of the training videos that people are talking about are older videos from when she did the heels appearance. Punk still had his long hair that he was rocking in AEW in these videos
And
that
then
people are
she
pointing
posted an
to.
Instagram her laying on the
With the
couch with the
boots.
wrestling boots on.
That was the closest thing to anything that I would lend credence to, was that Instagram story photo. But to me, if we see AJ Lee, it's gonna be a spot in the Rumble, and then they're gonna induct her in the Hall of Fame in Philly. That would be my prediction. If we're gonna see AJ, it'll be for a Rumble spot in a Hall of Fame induction a couple months later. I don't foresee her coming back full time. I just don't think her body could handle it. But I think as a Royal Rumble surprise, I think a lot of people would be really happy about that.
Well, yeah. From what I heard, she couldn't take bumps on heels. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We got 5 minutes left before we get to day one of Monday Night Raw. Let's hear from you in the chat. What were your favorite moments of 2023? Who was your best wrestler of the year in any company? Favorite moment, favorite match, favorite pay-per-view. Let us know, because we're gonna let you know
so
next
much
week.
Things that happened in 2023. Let us hear it.
Next week, we are going to bring you the marquees, of course. That'll be our awards show. We're going to try to figure out how much we can get through. Usually we have a lot of categories. MK in the chat saying Danielson Wrestler of the Year. Not a bad pick there at all. It's a shame that he got hurt. Oh, man, we wish we would have had a little more Danielson, because especially if he's going to be stopping full-time at some point in 2024. Maybe he kind of pushes that back and says, I'll go full time until Wrestle Kingdom next year. Maybe that'd be kind of cool. Any chances Ziggler or Ali to AEW? Kinford in the chat. I would say both.
I'd say Ziggler's very high due to his brother being there already.
They do nothing with his brother.
Ali, yeah, but I mean, if they bring him in and they put him in together in a tag team, they will finally do something with his brother.
That's what I want. That's what I'm saying. I like Nick. So I want to see them do something.
To me, Ali seems like he wants to go everywhere right now. I don't know if Ali wants to be tied down to a company at the moment, but I could absolutely see him coming in and doing like an open challenge match. Like Orange just like, whatever, I'm going to put my international title on the line tonight in an open challenge. And Mustafa Ali comes out and answers it, and they throw out a banger. I could definitely see that. I don't know. I don't know if Ali's looking to lock himself down to a company right now. I want to see Shelton Benjamin in AEW personally. So
yeah. Match of the year from MK, Hangman, and Swerve.
I'm assuming you mean the Texas Death Match, and it's hard to argue. I'm leaning on Omega and Ospreay 2 from Forbidden Door, but there were a lot of great matches this year.
Yeah,
I can't argue with MK's Women's Wrestler of the Year either, and Athena. She crushed it this year, man.
She did.
Phenomenal year for Athena. So, yeah. I think her 2024 is going to be even bigger, because I think she finds herself back on AEW programming at some point in 2024, and I think it's going to be really big. Like I really think if I'm telling you, if TK lands Mercedes and Deonna, 2024 for the women in AEW it's going to be their breakout year that everybody's been asking and demanding for. So.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard to just come up with a match of the year when you're thinking about it, because it's like, God, you want to almost go rewatch everything and see what you like better. I think it's hard to argue with Wrestle Kingdom, because it was definitely better than their last match. Though their last match was a masterpiece, the second one was the better of them all. I tell you what, though, man, it's pretty crazy.
Rhea Ripley hardly wrestled in 2023, man. She's a great character, but Women's Wrestler of the Year, I'm going Athena over Rhea Ripley any day of the week.
I put Tony Storm over Rhea Ripley.
Women's Character of the Year, Ripley's in the conversation. But I don't even know if I'd put her character over what Timeless Tony Storm's done in the second half of 2023.
She was definitely on TV a lot in 2023, as were the Judgment Day.
I would have liked to see Ripley in the ring more. I hope Ripley's in the ring a lot more in 2024 because she is the shining star of the Judgment Day, and she deserves to be treated as such.
Yeah.
But man, we are literally seconds away from WWE RAW, so we should probably wrap up and get ready for day one, man.
Exactly. We're going to be doing the marquees, our year-end awards. They've been on a hiatus for a couple of years. They are coming back next week live on this show, 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central. Make sure you are subscribed to WrestleZone. That's WrestleZone, all one word. Hit that bell icon so you know every time we go live every Monday. And share this out, comment, and give us a little thumbs up too to help this spread the word to a lot more people. Hope you guys enjoy day one. Follow Matt on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime, right below his picture there, and right below my picture at JB Huskers. We're both going to be live tweeting day one, see what happens, see what champion comes back, see if there's a title change in the old title matches tonight. And for Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Happy New Year. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy day one.